When one considers the concept of an island, what typically comes to mind? Crystal clear turquoise waters, pristine sandy beaches, swaying palm trees? However, certain islands possess such extraordinary characteristics that they astonish even the most seasoned world travelers. From crimson-tinted oceanic phenomena and multicolored sandy terrain to land masses concealing perilous mysteries, let us embark on an exploration of the world's most peculiar islands that challenge belief. Ball's Pyramid stands as a geological monument emerging from the Pacific Ocean's depths, positioned nearly 600 kilometers distant from Australia's eastern coastline. This solitary rocky formation presents an appearance befitting a fictional villain's fortress. Though intimidating in appearance, this structure represents Ball's Pyramid, the deteriorated remnants of an ancient volcanic formation that originated 7 million years in the past. Standing at an elevation exceeding 560 meters, it towers 443 meters above New York's Empire State Building, establishing itself as the planet's tallest volcanic precipice. The mere sight of this formation induces vertigo, yet certain adventurous individuals have attempted to scale its imposing summit. Despite its 18th century discovery, explorers only mustered the courage to ascend this foreboding steep cliff face in 1965. However, the extraordinary height proved not to be Ball's Pyramid's most unusual characteristic. During 2001, researchers discovered a colony of substantial insects congregating upon a solitary bush positioned at 100 meters elevation. For 7 decades, scientific consensus held that giant stick insects, alternatively known as land lobsters or walking sausages, had achieved complete extinction. While the scientific community celebrated this discovery, presumably at least one individual witnessing these creatures desired to incinerate the entire island. Okinoshima exists within Japan's inland sea region. The majority recognize this location by its alternative designation, Rabbit Island. Measuring merely 4 kilometers in length, this diminutive landmass supports approximately 1,000 long-eared mammals. These creatures understand that island visitors frequently provide food offerings, consequently gathering around humans in an entertaining manner upon detecting potential treats. This location appears to represent the world's most endearing destination, yet Okinoshima possesses a sinister historical background. Prior to its transformation into a rabbit sanctuary, this island facilitated the production of thousands of tons of toxic gas during the Second World War period. This operation maintained such secrecy that cartographers removed the island from all Japanese maps of that era. Some theorize that rabbits were initially transported to Okinoshima for experimental purposes during this period. Regrettably, these unfortunate creatures were euthanized following the factory's closure, raising questions about the current rabbit population's origins. Local folklore suggests that several students released a rabbit pair on the island during the 1970s, and these animals have subsequently reproduced at the characteristic rapid rate of their species. Regardless of their arrival method, the absence of natural predators and hunting prohibitions has enabled this animal population to flourish within such an adorable sanctuary. Multiple Japanese coastal islands harbor feline populations, not exclusively Okinoshima's rabbit inhabitants. Scattered along Japan's coastline exist 11 small islands supporting thousands of small cats. These locations are designated Nikoshima, translated as cat islands for those unfamiliar with Japanese terminology. During the 1940s, these animals served essential functions within fishing communities. Local residents maintained cats to control mice populations that threatened silkworms necessary for net production. However, as the industry declined, human island populations decreased accordingly. The feline populations, however, continued thriving. Regional inhabitants believe that feeding cats generates good fortune and prosperity, resulting in positive treatment of these animals. Certain islands, particularly Aoshima, contain cat populations exceeding human residents by a 6-to-1 ratio. While such demographics might appear unusual, cats have genuinely brought prosperity to these islands. They attract numerous tourists, significantly improving local business conditions on cat islands. Both human and feline island residents appear destined for financial prosperity. At this juncture, I wish to conduct a survey. Which island would you choose to visit? Rabbit Island or Cat Island? Select the like button for the first option and choose the subscribe button for the second. If you share my opinion that both locations are extremely charming, select both options. Now, let us continue our discussion. Christmas Island's nomenclature immediately suggests festive associations. This connection stems not from Santa Claus's residence, but from one of nature's most spectacular red and green colored phenomena occurring annually. Each year, the beaches of this island, positioned 1,500 kilometers from Australia's coast, experience crimson-colored tidal events. While resembling an unusual Christmas miracle, these waters actually contain countless baby red crabs. 50 million remarkable crustaceans arrive at the beaches weeks prior to this event, depositing fertilized eggs into oceanic waters. Subsequently, through instinctive behavior, these offspring hatch and return to the island. During years when most survive oceanic incubation, millions of young crabs blanket the green shorelines. They then commence migration toward the island's central forest region, where adult crabs typically reside. These creatures traverse rocks, roadways, and even navigate around humans to reach their destination. Such determination merits recognition. Perhaps Santa Claus should consider replacing his reindeer with 50 million baby red crabs. Argentina, a South American nation, possesses some of the planet's most remarkable landscapes, yet one particular formation appears extraterrestrial in nature. Concealed within the Parana River Delta's marshland, a large, nearly perfectly circular island remains surrounded by a narrow water channel. However, the island's incredible symmetrical properties do not represent its strangest characteristic. Time-lapse satellite imagery from 2003 demonstrates that this 118-meter diameter disk moves continuously around its small lake. The formation shifts from one shoreline to another, changing position daily according to an apparent pattern. Numerous scientists initially suspected human intervention, but island investigation revealed no evidence of artificial manipulation. This discovery generated more questions than answers. How could such geometric perfection occur naturally? While scientists contemplated this mystery, more unconventional individuals declared this location a secret extraterrestrial entrance to an alien facility. Alternative experts, however, compared the island's perfectly round configuration to ice disk formations. These frozen water circles develop when water current flows along ice edges, creating circular rotation and eroding irregular boundaries. If Argentina's disk and ice disks formed through identical processes, slow underwater currents might rotate this mysterious island, gradually carving circular openings in the lake. While this theory lacks perfection, it explains why little green beings haven't conquered Argentina. At least not yet. Majingo Island, despite measuring smaller than half a football field, experiences significant problems. Located near Victoria, Africa's largest freshwater lake, this location contains abundant fish populations. Moreover, these fish possess extreme commercial value, attracting numerous fishermen seeking wealth. 500 individuals occupy this island, transforming uneven rocky terrain into a dense collection of houses and rooftops resembling an armored turtle. While capable of battling fictional monsters, this small island faces more serious adversaries. During 2004, profitable waters attracted pirate activity, prompting both Kenya and Uganda to claim territorial rights for protective purposes. This situation initiated conflict between these nations, as neither could determine legitimate ownership. Suddenly, Majingo became central to events forming Africa's smallest warfare. Google imagery indicates the island's location within Kenyan waters, yet Uganda refuses recognition and withdrawal. While diplomacy represents the preferred approach, it would prove more entertaining if Kenya and Uganda resolved disputes through actual giant monster combat. Who would emerge victorious? Kenya's King Kong or Uganda's gigantic mutant? Few individuals can claim world ownership. Those residing here, when viewed from above, purchased homes on artificial islands within the world off Dubai's coast. These 300 islands were constructed using 311 million cubic meters of Persian Gulf sand, transformed into a world map-shaped archipelago. This project achieved such massive scale that astronauts monitored construction progress from space. Each land section received naming after various countries, enabling purchase for world ownership. For instance, billionaire Richard Branson acquired Great Britain during 2006. Perhaps he could have selected less extravagant attire for this island photograph. While appearing inexpensive, purchasing such countries requires millions of dollars. The most affordable island costs $7 million, while the most expensive reaches $1.8 billion. Construction commenced in 2003, but the 2008 economic crisis delayed the ambitious project's completion until 2020. Even currently, these empty islands appear distant from completion. Mauritius, an island nation, maintains fame for vibrant marine landscapes, yet this small island's interior conceals additional colors. The southern village of Chamarral contains Mauritius's stunning seven-colored earth. This topographical formation displays sand in unusual colors, and these psychedelic dunes possess fascinating scientific explanations. The entire island once functioned as an active volcano appearing 2 million years ago. Throughout many years, eruption basalts underwent rare transformation processes, converting solid rock into clay minerals, including iron and aluminum oxide. Unlike black basalt, these minerals display various colors ranging from bright red and orange to brilliant blue and purple. Traveling around this island resembles riding along a rainbow road from fairy tales. Litla Diamond exists within the North Atlantic's dangerous waters among the impressive Faroe Islands. 18 volcanic land portions comprise Denmark's territory. However, the smallest and most magnificent island, called Litla Diamond, possesses a curious characteristic: its personal cloud. Moist air passes over the 414-meter peak, causing temperature reduction and atmospheric water transformation into lenticular clouds resembling fluffy headwear. From distant viewing, one might mistake this mountain for a green jelly plate covered with whipped cream. The island appears perfect for isolation, yet it remains quite small and completely uninhabited. This results not only from harsh North Atlantic weather conditions, but also from the island's extremely steep shorelines that complicate navigation. Given such challenges, hopefully the views justify the difficulties. If the film Inception existed as an island, it would certainly be Vulcan Point. Rather than dreams within dreams, Vulcan Point represents an island within a lake inside a volcano, within a larger island, in a Pacific Ocean archipelago. This striking small island occupies the crater lake of Taal Volcano, the Philippines' second most active volcano. It also sits within another lake called Taal, located on Luzon Island. Luzon constitutes one of 7,000 Philippine islands positioned 800 to 900 kilometers from Vietnam and China's shores. This configuration proves quite complex. Upon closer examination, something appears missing. Where did the crater's central lake disappear? You might recall news reports from several years ago when Taal Volcano erupted during January 2020. The entire surrounding area received several meters of ash coverage. Eruption heat evaporated the crater lake completely. Despite these circumstances, Vulcan Point miraculously survived and remained intact. Experts predict the lake will refill through precipitation within several years. However, this former dream within a dream now resembles a nightmare scenario. Sable Island becomes visible when observing the ocean 210 kilometers from Nova Scotia, appearing as a mysterious giant serpent gliding through waves. Measuring 42 kilometers in length and slightly over half a kilometer in width, I sympathize with fishermen attempting its capture. Fortunately, this formation isn't actually a snake. This uninhabited crescent represents a sandy spit called Sable Island. Formation occurred atop a continental shelf ridge created by glacial activity over 15,000 years ago. Subsequently, sand accumulated on this ridge, rising above water level, supporting grass growth, and even a solitary pine tree. While virtually no organisms can survive these harsh conditions far from mainland areas, strangely, 500 wild horses roam these shores. How did they reach such oceanic distances? Horses don't possess gills. Although these hardy horses indeed lack gills or fins, their origin remains mysterious. Perhaps they arrived following shipwrecks several centuries ago. Alternatively, they might have been transported during Acadian deportation and abandoned where discovery was impossible. Regardless of their arrival method, horses transformed this barren sand patch into a genuine equine paradise. Slovenia's magnificent interior contains a large lake with a distinctive feature. Lake Bled's northern shores contain tear-shaped Bled Island resembling a green football placed in water. Measuring only 61 meters in length, this impression proves deceptive because it equals the Lincoln Memorial's width. The island's significance stems not from shape or size, but from location. It occupies the 8-kilometer lake's northernmost section. From certain angles, it appears as the world's most secluded location, surrounded exclusively by fog and calm waters. This island could serve as an introvert vacation destination or extrovert nightmare. How long could you survive here in complete isolation? Islands typically exist in lakes or oceans, yet one underground exception proves noteworthy. At 122 meters depth lies beautiful Salina Turda Island, positioned within an abandoned salt mine center. This brilliantly illuminated attraction forms part of the largest salt mine museum. Manual excavation occurred entirely during the 13th century. For 660 years, workers carved this enormous cave using only hand strength and pickaxes. Currently, a small underground lake surrounds a brilliantly decorated central island. Under soft lighting, the appearance proves extremely impressive. Hopefully, electrical power remains constant. A distant Pacific Ocean corner contains an island harboring one secret, positioned along the Marshall Islands edge. The atoll's picturesque beauty suffers disruption from a massive, grim dome, Runit. This concrete structure somewhat resembles a crashed UFO. However, the concrete roof conceals nothing extraterrestrial. Storage contains 84,000 cubic meters, equivalent to 34 swimming pools, of radioactive waste. Island dome construction occurred in 1977 following U.S. nuclear testing during the 1940s and 1950s. The equivalent of 1.5 Hiroshima bombs exploded daily for 12 years, covering the island with irradiated debris. When cleanup time arrived, Congress refused decontamination program funding. Instead, Americans scraped contaminated topsoil and mixed it with cement. They dumped this mixture into a deep explosion crater and sealed it with concrete panels. Facility responsibility was transferred like a hot potato to Marshall Islands authorities. Naturally, they expressed fury over such unethical decision-making and assigned this location the ominous nickname, the Tomb. After 40-plus years, cracking has begun appearing. Unlined tomb portions have started crumbling, threatening deadly radiation release into surrounding sea and soil. The U.S. never apologized, and the tomb has become a ticking time bomb within a shining paradise. When clouds gather over the Maldives' blue seas, these countries' islands might appear to float. This would create truly magnificent appearance both from above and underwater. Unfortunately, these islands don't actually float. They aren't even genuine islands. The Maldives consists of an entire chain containing 1,200 coral reefs that range from giant to very small. As visible, they group into round clusters called atolls. These represent remnants of long-extinct oceanic volcanoes. When they exploded millions of years ago, lava hardened and slowly transformed into islands. Over centuries, corals began growing at their bases while plants formed giant reefs. While corals grew, volcanoes began sinking under rising sea levels, leaving reefs behind. These corals continued growing, eventually becoming sand, and sometimes grew sufficiently for animal habitation. Although incapable of swimming, these islands definitely ascended. No expansive beaches or crystal-clear waters can conceal this Fijian island's secret. Aerial viewing reveals that this land piece resembles a love sausage the size of an island, complete with impressive appendages. This 42-hectare island sits off Vanuatu's northern coast in the upper Fijian archipelago. Despite abundant exotic trees, flowers, and animals, its center has been divided into 87 elite lots costing $75,000 to $125,000 per seaside land piece. I'm certain everyone purchases these lots specifically for beautiful views. Gaiola Island off Naples coast initially appears extracted from a Salvador Dali painting. Two tiny islands connect through one extremely thin stone arch appearing no stronger than rope. However, this natural bridge doesn't represent the island's strangest feature. Its entire history connects with misfortune, so luxurious summit mansions have long been abandoned. Curse rumors emerged during the early 20th century when island owner Swiss Hans Braun was discovered murdered and wrapped in old carpeting. His wife also soon perished, drowning in the sea. The subsequent owner, German Otto Grunbach, also died from heart attack during vacation. The following owner, writer Maurice de Sander, committed suicide in a Swiss psychiatric hospital after mental breakdown. Curses didn't conclude there. They led other owners to bankruptcy while their relatives died prematurely. The most famous story involves tycoon John Paul Getty. During 1973, Calabrian mafia members kidnapped his youngest grandson. They forced the tycoon to pay $3 million ransom, severing the boy's ear and mailing it to Getty. The island experienced its last ownership in 1978, and since then people have learned lessons and avoided the location. Obviously, this beautiful island resists ownership. Why such cruel cursing? A giant "Do Not Disturb" sign would have sufficed. You might not recognize Manuriki Island's name, but you might have seen it previously. This uninhabited landmass belongs to the Fiji Island nation. Of volcanic origin, it measures less than 2 kilometers in length and 610 meters in width, surrounded by beautiful reefs. Azure tides, blue lagoons, luxurious vegetation. Perhaps being stranded on such an island wouldn't prove terrible. This occurred to one famous individual. Specifically, Manuriki served as the filming location for Castaway, featuring Tom Hanks alongside Volleyball Wilson. Before the film's international success, the island remained relatively unknown and lacked particularly notable features. Currently, a themed beach attracts fans from worldwide locations. Not Hanks fans, but Wilson fans. Who could have predicted that an award-worthy actor would be overshadowed by a volleyball? Which of these islands do you consider the strangest? Which would you prefer to visit? Leave your opinion in the comments. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thank you and see you in the next videos. Take care.